Welcome to the Green Room on Casting Workbook. I'm Natasha Gargiulo. With the release of The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes only a few weeks away, fans of the original series are eagerly awaiting a return to the world of Panem. The prequel stars new faces and characters, including Rachel Zegler as Lucy Greybeard and Tom Blythe as a young Snow, who are both excited to be taking audiences to a time where it all began. May the odds be forever in your favor.
The moment I picked it up, after the first chapter, I was hooked and I demolished it in like 2 days. And that was how I knew I had to do it, because Coriolanus is just such a complex character. And seeing him go from young man who is kind of troubled and fighting for his family to young man who is still troubled, but this time has kind of a goal and an aim, albeit a dark one, and he becomes kind of dark and heavy towards the end, and he becomes the kind of dictator that we know him to be in the original movies. And seeing that kind of origin story take place is something that I just couldn't not do.
I've always been a huge Hunger Games fan. Catching Fire is one of my favorite movies of all time, as well as my favorite of like the original trilogy when it came to the books. And so when Suzanne was coming out with a new book that had to do with the subject matter of Hunger Games, I was so excited.
What makes Corio tick to begin with, and a lot of that was to do with his ambition for his family. And although he's an ambitious person later on, most of his ambition to kind of fight and become the kind of person who will do anything, do whatever it takes to win, is mostly stemming from his family's needs. And the film begins with his family at like the precipice of like serious hunger, and he will do whatever it takes to get them out of that place. And then that gives way to a Corio who will start to do anything for himself just to get to the top.
Lucy Gray is such a compelling character, and she's kind of a breeding ground for what Katniss becomes 65 years later.
Audiences will be very grateful to get a glimpse into the kind of origin of what made the Hunger Games what they are. I know watching the original movies, always felt like, how did they end up here?
What's so amazing about this story, whether you're reading the book or when you're watching our film, is that you can never really tell whose side she's on. And the way I approached her was that she's always on her side.
Rachel is, she's so enigmatic. She just sings Lucy Gray. She is Lucy Gray. I think my first experience of Rachel was watching her sing in our chemistry read, which was over Zoom. And I sat there and, Zoom doesn't really give you much emotional feedback, but I sat there and I ended up crying just watching her sing, because she has this kind of incredible life in her when she sings, which I've really not seen in many other actors before.
The first day that Tom and I had together working on camera was the explosion in the arena, where the arena gets, exploded into a billion pieces, and we were being attacked with air machines and sound machines that just made it look like it was actually exploding in our faces. And I have never laughed so hard in my life. It's like supposed to be this terrifying scene, and then the second we yelled cut, Tom and I were just having so much fun with one another. He's very, very goofy and fun, and at the same time has such a respect for an actor's process.
Yeah, it's very easy to fall in love with Rachel. She's very charming. She brings a lot of kind of raw, fiery energy to what she does, which is exactly what Lucy Gray needs. So it's been a pure joy.